Do you feel better this week?
You're out of order.
You feel better this week?
I do feel better this week. I do feel better. I was a sad sack last week.
Yeah.
I was hurting, Linda. I was hurting.
Yeah, last week was a tough week. Our piggies. It's never easy to go with a loss, but hey, we're back.
Yeah.
Got other stuff to talk about. Hawg Slop has to keep slopping, baby.
Yeah, keep slopping. And you know what? After you get done slopping, what you need to do is to take a moment.
Take a moment.
Like. Give the show a like, share it, subscribe it, dish this out like it's slop.
That's right.
I don't know. That wasn't my best pun.
Swap your social media websites with it.
There you go.
Yeah. So folks, hope you're ready for another one. We got some interesting stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about this verdict on the lawsuit, House versus NCAA.
You have went deep into the dive. You have read this entire bill.
Well,
you have consulted legal scholars.
I hadn't read the whole thing, but
Travis, just take the compliment.
Okay.
Yeah, he's read the entire thing. He understands it. He has consulted lawyers and legal clerks.
Yeah.
At the lowest level courts.
That's right. Yeah.
Let's go.
I watched a couple episodes of Suits. Does that count?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, folks. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And now, listen to a little music before we come back and tickle your ears for a little while.
1, 2, 3, 4. You ever seen a lame man walk? Ever heard a dumb man talk? Ever seen a blind man see? I promise you will change his thing. You ever seen a cancer dead? Ever seen all the poor get fed? Ever seen a prisoner set free? I promise you will change his thing.
Oh, yeah.
Ever seen a broken heart made whole? Ever seen an orphan find a home? Ever seen the weak find the strength? I promise you will change his thing. Ever seen the sick get healed? Ever seen a mystery revealed? Ever seen a death man raised? I promise you will change his thing.
What's up, everybody? It's time for the Hawg Slop podcast. I'm your boy, Bigger T, joined as always by my man, Big C, Clint Clark. How you doing, buddy?
You know, you were talking about your Church Street gang right before you busted into it. See, yeah. I would consider myself. I mean, I didn't live close to this place. Didn't live close. I'd consider myself Pinto Trail Posse. Would you consider yourself Pinto Trail Posse?
Well, I would consider myself friendly with the Pinto Trail Posse. I was reared on the mean streets of Worcester. We had our own little family there.
Yeah, and I was out in the country, so I didn't really have anybody really buy me.
Like if I went the Clarks on Republican Road.
Yeah, I mean, I could go visit my grandmother. So it wasn't
folks that watched the little Andy Griffith. Y'all were kind of like the Darlings, kind of living up in the hill.
Yeah, I've never watched Andy Griffith. I mean, I have, I'm sure, but
yeah. Anyway.
You know, but what's funny about all that, Travis? You say that, and we hadn't planned on talking about this, but I knew we're going to get off on a tangent episode.
Yeah, why not?
But I remember going to see my grandfather, and what he always had on was game shows.
Was what?
Game shows.
Oh yeah.
Like the Whammy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, they're bringing all these classics back because he reminds me, like, I remember watching my grandfather.
Yeah.
And then they make it for big money. And then what is big money now? It's probably just inflation. Yeah. Let's not kid ourselves. But it's like, oh, you have a chance to win $100,000. Oh, wow. It's like giving 10,000, 20, what they do, the $25,000 pyramid. They had that back. Wasn't Strahan coasting that one?
Somebody like that, yeah. You know, I was always partial to Family Feud because my grandpa loved it, and so a lot of times if I was at his house in the afternoons or something, my grandpa Johnson always had Family Feud on.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, he was kind of, I think he was kind of jealous because he's like, that guy kisses all the ladies. I forget the name of that host that was when we were kids, but he would kiss all the ladies on the cheek and stuff.
Oh yeah, Richard Dawson. Yeah,
Richard Dawson. Yeah.
He'd lead with a sexual assault charge. Yeah, he'd get me.
Nowadays
I'm he'd get me too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No, hey, so which show that's not a remake game show that's out original now do you think is the best? Like me, I love The Floor. The Floor, I can sit there.
See, I don't really watch them. I don't really watch any of those much. I mean, I thought Deal or No Deal was pretty good. I watched it.
Yeah. You know what was a good game show? A good game show.
I watch more of the competition shows and stuff.
So. Right. But did you ever watch Repo Games? Where it was on Spike TV, and I swear to you, and this happened. It just shows how dumb America is.
Yeah.
Like they would ask them, like they would go to repo somebody's car. They'd be like $1,000 behind or whatever, and they go. They'd put their car up on this. They say, "Look, it's two big swole black guys. We're the host. I mean, just swole." He goes, "All right, here's the thing. Your car is repossessed. We can either play repo games or I can take your car."
Oh, I think I did watch that a few times.
Yeah, I think like they go, okay. They would like to be like the question, like name 3 Gulf states. Like easy stuff. Like, okay, what's the best hand in poker?
Yeah.
And like, who's the current president of the United States?
Yeah.
And like, it was about a 50-50 win rate. I think of all the, and I watched about every one of these. They need to bring it back.
Yeah.
But, and I'll host it. Like, I am volunteering. Me and Travis will bring back repo
Let's
games.
do it.
We'll host this. Put us in harm's way. Pay us next to nothing.
That's right.
I'm game.
That's
right. But, like, literally, I think one of them where I would not have won my car back. And I was, like, ashamed that I had to say that.
Yeah.
Because it's usually like, I'm like, how do you not know this?
Yeah. Now, I'll tell you one show I did watch a little bit that I liked was Cash Cab. That was a pretty fun one.
I've never watched Cash Cab, but I bet you it was about as ridiculous.
Well, it's just a cabbie in New York, and he would give you trivia questions, and some of them would be like video. He'd have a screen and different stuff. And then if you answered, and like if it was a group of people, he was in a van. So if it was a group of people, they could answer together or whatever. Now, if you got 3 strikes, he just put you back out on the road. You had to find another cab. But if you answered them correctly, you'd win some money, and your money would go up as you answer questions. And you would, of course, you get your cab ride free. So anyway, it was a pretty fun one to watch because it was just unsuspecting people just getting in the cab, and they just filmed it. So anyway, well,
I'll get you. The people playing repo games probably weren't expecting it either.
That's right. That's true. Yeah, those are some of the best when they're just random people answering the questions.
Yeah.
But, well, Clint, first of all, let's give some credit, some applause to our shortstop for the Razorbacks.
Golden Spikes Award winner, the 3rd Razorback to ever do it.
Could they announce that in just a worse way?
Yeah, I mean, you think there would be, it's your biggest award.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying you got to have Heisman.
Heisman of baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying you got to have Heisman hype around it, but you should have an award show. I think I found out on Facebook.
Well, did you see the way they did it?
No, I didn't. Was it a press release?
Before the first game of the finals, like just out on the field, they had all 3 players. Viva Aloy's wearing like khaki shorts and a polo shirt, which why not? He's there. It's before the game, so he's going to be kind of watching the game the rest of the time. I'm sure it's hot. But, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It's like kids getting their medals before a Little League game or something, I mean, it's like.
Yeah. It's
like no big deal. It's like, all right, here we go now.
Once again, and I just, me and Travis, once again, we're going to throw ourselves out there. We're going to offer to volunteer to host a Golden Spikes Award show.
That's right.
ESPN, are you listening?
That's right.
I know you're not, but if
No.
Paul Feinbaum, I know you're a fan. If you see this,
That's right.
Let them know. Big
Yeah,
C, bigger team.
We're willing to host it.
We'll talk rate later. I know I said volunteer. Listen, you don't get these two good-looking faces for free, kids. You don't get these. They're good. And you know who else not going to get anything for free? Apparently, the University of Miami. We all know that tampering goes on, right? I mean, everybody knows it, but no one has ever done anything about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like kids just leaving on a whim. Like Arkansas, they're the first ones really to go try to get their money back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a matter. So it's only a matter of time. So now the University of Wisconsin is suing the University of Miami over allegedly tampering with a player, meeting with a kid. I guess getting the kid to break his contract. From what I read, and keep in mind, I read this a few days ago, but I did Google. There's a suit going on. From what I can remember, the kid signed a 2-year contract, and Miami got him to break it. And so now, like, Wisconsin's suing Miami. You got to think Lane Kiffin's avoiding everybody you don't know, fear of a process server right now.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, the thing is, Clint, everybody's done it, but someone's finally stepping up and suing over it. And there's, our coaches have talked about our players got tampered with, everybody's worried about that. So there's been accusations on Lincoln Riley for doing it, and other people, so it's crazy. But, and one of the main things we want to talk about today, of course, is there was a big decision come down on the lawsuit, House versus NCAA. By the way, House is not House of Congress. It's a person, okay? It's a name of somebody. I didn't realize that until I was kind of doing a little bit of research here. But with this comes some big changes in college sports, Clint.
All right. Yeah, see, and I haven't read it. I don't really know much about it, but I'm going to have you tell me what's going on, and then I'll just live react to, whatever you say.
The biggest thing, okay, is it opened up to where colleges can pay players. So I don't know how legally that's going to work. But
I can tell you how that works. You go ahead because you haven't explained it. But I think
it's going to be they're going to be like contractors, I guess, in a way. And so there will be contracts now. The colleges have, I think, 20.5 million, something like that, of revenue sharing that they're going to be able to pay out and actually give. It's like a salary cap that they're going to be able to give to college athletes in every sport, male and female. That's their cap. That's what they can pay out. Okay. So that's going to make it to where these players, they can sign people. Now, there's going to be some challenges with that. One of the biggest challenges is each school is going to get to decide how much of that they give to each sport. So you have someone like, say, Arkansas, the difficulty is going to be you're going to have Sam Pittman in the room saying, we're the biggest revenue sport, football. We have 70,000 people at a lot of our home games. Yeah, we're not the most successful sport right now. But, we deserve and most people think it's going to be like 75% or so is going to go to football. They have the most players. Their players cost the most to get. Players are expecting the most money because of the way things have been done without any limits the last few years. But then what's the problem there, Clint?
Well, then if you put most of your money in football, then basketball is going to hurt a little bit.
Exactly. You have Coach Cal saying, hey, Sweet 16 over here, we got, and we're going to have one of the best recruiting classes in the nation every year. And I got to pay these guys. So I need a big chunk of that too.
Now, does this affect? And I'm asking Travis because I don't know, because I get where you're going. How like you're gonna have to listen. The money you've got to take money from somewhere to give it to somewhere.
Yeah,
and so everybody's gonna be. You're gonna have your softball team who was on the cusp of their first College World Series going, hey, we need some
super
money.
Regional. Yeah.
Yeah. You are the track capital of the world.
Yeah.
You are the track capital of the world. We boast about how many national titles is it now? It was in the 40s last time I checked. It's probably in the 50s.
Sam Pittman, one of your football players, is now the fastest man in the nation.
Yeah.
Anthony, wide receiver.
Yeah.
He's quitting football because he's going to make money doing track.
Right. Did you see? The money's got to come from somewhere. Where do you put it? And that becomes a hard thing. That's why my question is this, Travis. Because right now, me being the salesman I am, trying to find the workaround.
Yeah.
Trying to find the workaround. And there's going to be a workaround. And there's people smarter than me. You're going to find it. Now, what does that have? Like, let's say football to be able to go get like, I'm just going to say Tyson chicken, just for the lack of a better one. To say, hey, man, can I get some NIL from you? That way I can supplement the kids. Because I figure it'd be illegal to restrict the kid from going to get NIL numbers.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem with that.
Okay.
There's now a guy, and I forget the guy's name. I meant to write it down. He used to be like somewhere high up in government, like in the Attorney General's office or something like that. He also has a background in Major League Baseball, which is one of the places where you probably don't want someone coming from that's going to control the money that's paid out to players because they bloated their salaries so bad. However, he's going to oversee all the NIL stuff, and he's got an organization that's going to oversee it. It's not necessarily the NCAA that's going to oversee it. It's this other organization that's being set up, okay? And this organization, anything over $600 paid to a player, okay? If you pay a player $601, that has to be approved through this organization. Okay. And now what are they going to use to approve that? So here's the deal. Like with Arkansas this last year, John Calipari went and, it wasn't John Tyson didn't just pay John Calipari's salary. John Tyson said, look, I'm going to give you this chunk of a few $1 million of NIL money that you can pay out to your players. And so Cal just handed it out to them. And all he had them do was, they did some charity stuff and things like that, but it wasn't tied to the NIL money. It was just, they just did that. So they didn't have to do anything for it. They didn't have to use their name, image, and likeness with Tyson or anything like that. They just used that money. Well, now there's going to be this organization that's going to oversee it and saying, okay, Tyson wants to pay, Trayvon Brazile so much, right, out of this NIL.
So here's how I see this working, Travis. Now that I hear it, what they're basically doing is this is going to be somewhat of an enforcement arm, because what they want to make sure you do, like, hey, okay, you got this money from JB Hunt. You got this money from JB Hunt, and you're gonna pay Braylon Russell $10,000.
Yeah,
from JB Hunt. We got to see that he's doing something. This is just not a handout.
That's
that
right.
He's doing something.
That you're using him to make money for your business with that money.
So, and I think that's why I saw Quincy Rhodes the other day. He was signing cards and stuff like that. So, like, maybe they've got like, okay, you're getting $500,000 from Topps, and here's what you're getting. You get these signed Quincy Rhodes trading cards that you can.
And we don't really know yet what kind of, like, are they going to, like, if John Tyson puts the whole basketball team on those Razorback Nuggets package and some billboards in Northwest Arkansas, is that going to be enough, or is it not? Now,
see, and this is what's got the NCAA in trouble in the past. And that's why this enforcement order has to be different.
Yeah.
Because we find ourselves in the transfer portal era, the name and image and likeness era, because they were incapable of enforcing it evenly. That is why we're in this mess.
Yep.
Michigan would change coaches. Ryan Mallett was forced to sit out a year.
Yeah.
And this under the same rules. And then Justin Fields didn't even change coaches. He just couldn't beat out Jake Fromm. And he was allowed to be immediately eligible for Ohio State. There was no.
The NCAA is spineless cowards.
Yeah, it was tore, and that's why we're in this situation.
You offer me a job, I'll take it.
Yeah, no, I'll come do something.
But no, and that's where and so that's changing what this Arkansas Edge is going to do. Now they're not going to be a fundraising arm. They're going to be more of a marketing arm. These collectives are going to be like, okay, we got this player. Coach is going to say, okay, I can only pay this guy so much because I only have so much to work with. Because whatever they get here's the deal. Whatever they I heard this said, and I don't know if it's true or not. I just heard it said on a podcast I watched. What they paid out last year, the University of Alabama, was $23 million in the hole. Okay. So if they get 75% of that 20 million, that's 14, 16 million, something like that is what a lot of people think football is going to get. It's not enough to pay all their players. Okay. So they're going to have to say, all right, we got this 5-star. We got to get him some money. So those collectives are going to go out and say, hey, Mr. JB Hunt or Mr. Frank Fletcher or whatever.
Yeah. Well, Travis, I come from the world of Division II football, and I had a lot of friends. I was on a part. And Division II football is like all partial scholarships. Yeah. And that's basically what you're having to do. You're having to play you're probably having to figure out how to pay, everybody just a little bit, piece the packages together. Like if you want, listen, JJ Andrews, high 4-star or 5-star basketball player, son of Sean Andrews. So if you're going to get a guy like that, man, you're going to have to pay a pretty penny for him.
Yeah.
So in just scholarship money and whatever his chunk of that pie is not going to be. Yeah. Let's say football gets 14 million and you give basketball 3 million. And what this is also going to lead to, this is going to happen, is they're going to put most of the money into men's sports, and then there's going to be lawsuits from the
Title IX lawsuits.
It is. That's why I've thought for years almost have to take football out, and not count it.
Well, and this is why they should have just started with paying them the living wage. Well, anyway, that's
because I've said it in this pretty much being a good recruiter, it means less. What Sam Pittman was great at, means probably as little as anything anymore.
Well, there's one more part of this because I know where you're kind of leading to here, but here's another part of this though, and breaking down that 20 million. What about, say, a school like UConn or Villanova who could care less about football?
Yeah.
So instead of putting 75% into football like all the SEC schools will probably do, they put 25% into football and put a big percentage, 50, 60% into basketball for a 15-man roster. Okay. So that's going to help them continue to be dominant because they're already high up there. Now, SEC looked great, did great last year.
Well, the SEC,
even those smaller schools that don't care about football as much, they're going to have more money to put into basketball.
Well, they'll have more of that 20 million, but I think when you talk about all the side gigs that they're going to be getting these kids.
Yeah.
They're still, it's just, I don't think you're not going to compete with the SEC and the Big Ten. You're just not. Yeah. I don't care.
I mean, okay, maybe not St. John's. Okay. But UConn and Villanova have some wealthy, alumni. I mean, how many they got in the NBA?
Yeah, I know.
How many they got on the Knicks?
Yeah, no, they got
Yeah.
The New York it was the Villanova Knicks is what they were calling them for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're going to find, they're going to use Walmart. They're going to use that. Now, here's where I can see.
Well, here's one thing I want to say to that, Clint. I think Arkansas fans need to quit saying we can use Walmart, because I don't think Walmart cares less about sports at Arkansas.
Well, their names really on the floor and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. No, they care. Not as much as Sam Waltman did. If Sam Waltman was still alive, we would be unstoppable at everything.
Now they don't care as much about it. They want to get their name out there for advertising. They put their logo on stuff, but it's all for advertising. It's not as much for, and also because they use the facilities when they have all their big meetings.
Well, so I use Walmart as like an example, like sponsor A. But you go.
But a lot of Arkansas people do that. They say, well, we got Walmart money. Why can't we? Well, because Walmart gives their money to other things like maybe feeding hungry people or, helping the homeless or cancer research or
lawsuits.
A lot of other things people are asking for big money for out there.
Yeah.
College athletics.
No, but here's where I can see this becoming an issue down the line. And a buddy of mine pointed this to me, and no one's really. If I'm AT&T, and my advertising budget's $30 million, and I'm usually donating, I'm spending I usually just give all that $30 million straight to the universities to advertise on that. Well, why don't I give $20 million to the university and $10 million to the kids?
Yeah,
and it starts earning the university sponsorship money. It's probably not going to happen, but I'm saying it's not the craziest thing in the world.
Well, one of the things to watch out for, and I've said it on here before, but one of the things to watch out for in the future is what's going to happen to the facilities at all these colleges.
Yeah.
Because you're the same people you're going to and saying, hey, we need a couple $1 million to pay this 5-star recruit. It's the same people you're going to and saying, hey, we need $30 million to help build this remodel Bud Walton Arena. And, what do you want them to do? I mean, what you're going to have is we're not going to see the facilities look as nice, I think. Because we're already seeing that. They already tried to raise money for Bud Walton, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, because they're going to go where they get the best paycheck, not necessarily the nicest.
Yeah.
Because just to, what was one of Mike Anderson's, and I'm not saying this to disparage Mike Anderson. One of the excuses you always heard from Mike Anderson, not recruiting better, was they didn't have an indoor practice facility.
Yeah.
Like we all think about how nice Bud Walton is. Well, that practice facility is not nice.
Yeah.
They don't have one.
Yeah. Now, another thing real quick, I just want to get in there on this deal. The last thing is, or maybe there's more to it on this verdict or whatever. But one of the things is if a player signed before this came down, however many days ago it came down, it's been a couple of weeks now or something like that, then there's nothing to it. Like you have that deal. Okay. So if you sign an NIL deal, like
right. Yeah. They're not going to go take money away from kids that have already made deals.
Yeah. Yeah. So like if Tyson's already paying all these basketball recruits that are coming in, if he's already got deals done with them, then they're grandfathered into this deal. Okay. So that they're already and what happened is a lot of schools now, if they're still owed money on that, unless there's a contract, if it's just a handshake type deal or something like that, then it can change it. But a lot of schools were front loading these kind of like paying up front, like a signing bonus. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is probably what happened, I'm guessing, with
Madden,
Villanueva or whatever his name is. I think that's probably what happened with him, and that's why Arkansas is trying to get some of that money back. They probably paid a lot of that up front. So now, also part of this deal, one more other thing I forgot about is, forget how much it was, like $2 billion or something in back pay for athletes that before, I think it was 2020, 2021, something like that, down to 2016. Sorry, you don't see it.
I was like, boy, I know Tech owes me some money.
Yeah. So like people like Baker Mayfield is going to get a paycheck.
Now,
Let me use an example. I saw one person use as somebody that, had a high earning potential, but wasn't, when he was playing, wasn't eligible to get it.
Yeah. See, I'm thinking like Arkansas, I think you'd probably agree that Darren McFadden probably would have made the most money.
Oh yeah, but that was,
I mean, of our adult lifetime, I mean, Corliss is like a childhood memory. But of our adult lifetime, so what college football player do you think was probably worth the most money? Because I know who it is to me, and it's not even close. But
Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, Johnny Football.
Yeah,
he was. I don't hate anything.
Did he graduate?
Huh?
What year did he graduate?
Oh, I can't remember, but I don't know if I heard anything as much as that man hates the NCAA.
Yeah.
I mean,
but anyway, so yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the reason I think so many you didn't see schools firing coaches, because I think everybody was trying to stand pat. Like, look, this is all changing, and we're going to stand pat, and we're going to figure it out. We may still end up making some changes, but we are going to figure it out.
I think it's for sure why Sam Pittman still has a job, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think, there was more teams that would have made changes, and then you saw coaches like Gus Malzahn. I was like, I don't want to deal with this crap.
Yeah.
I'll go be a coordinator. I mean, you saw Chip Kelly did this. Chip Kelly was a coordinator last year. Now he's in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see more coaches when they get the opportunity, I think, to jump to the NFL, take it.
Yeah.
Because it's
at least it's organized there.
Yeah.
Because now it's still going to be wild, wild west in some ways. This is going to cut down on transfers a little bit, because you can sign them to a couple-year contract, things like that, to kind of keep players around. But it's still going to be crazy trying to figure out all these rules.
Yeah, I mean, because it's weird, because in the past, like you'd be like, you'd have been so excited about signing a Madden, Villanueva, but it's like I don't care. Yeah. He's not going to stay here. Yeah. It's not, and I think that's part of the reason. I mean, as much as Arkansas fans clamor for it, you'll never see Bobby Petrino be a head coach again. I don't think Bobby wants to deal with that crap.
Well, and I think he'd be terrible at it.
Yeah.
I think as the head coach, I just don't think he would be very good at handling all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, because you're going to have players being paid more than the coaches who are coaching them now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, they just are. I mean, you can't tell me that,
especially position coaches. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't tell me. Well, I don't know if Xavier Sorey is making more than Travis Williams, but it's probably close. Yeah. I bet you Cam Ball's making more than Deke Adams.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure.
And I love Cam Ball.
Our offensive linemen are making more than Mateos, most of them. At least some of them. Carmona probably is.
Well,
a couple of the transfers probably are.
Yeah.
So, oh, for sure. And in basketball.
Oh, for sure.
They are.
Yeah, you got to think Carter Knox is making way more than Ronnie Brewer.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Travis, did you watch the end of the NBA Finals?
I did. Well, some of
that was heartbreaking for me to watch Tyrese Halliburton go down like he did, because that man was playing through some pain with that calf.
Yeah.
And it was weird because I don't know if this is just a weird coincidence or not. And I know this is more NBA talk than some of our fans care to hear, but Damian Lillard, Jason Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton, all three wear number 0 and tore their Achilles tendon in this playoffs.
Oh, wow. That's weird.
That's some voodoo right there. But
yeah, that's a weird deal for sure.
Yeah. But 2 Razorbacks got their championship ring. You got Isaiah Joe and Jalen Williams, J-Dub.
Yeah.
Coached by Eric Musselman.
Yeah.
And the MVP of the playoffs, SGA, coached by John Calipari. Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. And, Oklahoma City was by a lot of people the best team, and they proved it. Even though Indiana put up a fight,
they did.
Halliburton was on fire before he got hurt, so you'd like to see what could have happened if he would have kept going in that game 7. But it's not the way the cookie crumbled. So
yeah, sometimes it's just rough. It just don't go your way, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. But it was interesting ball. And did you watch any of the? I know it's hurts us, but did you watch any of the College World Series?
I only watched literally. Here's all I watched was the Coastal Carolina coach getting kicked out.
Yeah, wasn't that crazy,
dude? I don't know what he did, but if he said anything like what Kevin Costner said in Bull Durham, and that's all I'm going to say about that, then you know what, kick the man out.
Yeah.
But anything short of that, it is the College World Series ump, have thicker skin.
Yeah. Well, and the word is that ump got fired from Major League Baseball because he was kicking too many coaches out there. Apparently he's got a short fuse, and that's who they had calling behind the plate of the College World Series.
Yeah, he shouldn't be calling the College World Series if that's who you're going to have.
Well, and then that first base umpire tripped and fell over the home base umpire.
Yeah, I mean, like they should have been playing yakety sax.
And gave him 2 extra games because he said he bumped him.
Well, he'll have to sit out against he'll have to sit out against Elon College or something like that. So
I don't think they'll carry on those 2 extra games. I don't
but congratulations, I guess, to LSU. I don't care. Yeah. I didn't watch 1 second of it other than that, and only watched that. I watched that on YouTube.
Does it hurt even worse knowing that if a couple of those plays went different in that last inning, we would have won that game? And the way they beat Coastal, well, I guess that last game was close, but
both games were close. It was 5-3 and 1-0. So
yeah.
So we would have had a fight on our hand. I think it's hard to say you're the best team when you don't win the series. So
that's right.
So you got to give LSU credit. They beat the person that was in front of them that day, and I hate you. So
that's right. Oh well. Well, Clint, we'll as we keep going on these podcasts, we'll talk a little more. Probably a little more. There's some football stuff we need to catch up on. There's some basketball stuff we need to catch up on.
Yeah.
So we'll. There's been some been some players added to the roster that we need to talk about. And so we'll
definitely international flair for the Razorbacks next year.
So we'll cover some of that stuff as we keep going. But as we talked about today, that things are changing in college sports, and it's going to affect all of them. And it's going to be interesting to watch how it changes and how Arkansas, our team navigates those changes. How Hunter Yurchek, how Sam Pittman, how the new GM, how Calipari, how Dave Van Horn, Courtney Deifel, all these people that lead our teams. And so it's going to be weird, wild stuff, man. Weird, wild stuff. Well, Clint, how's your summer going? You enjoying it?
It's going good, but I'm sitting there thinking the entire time we're talking is, the fight at UConn for how they're going to split that money up is going to be epic.
Yeah,
that's going to be fun. If any school, because Jim Moore is going to be sitting there going, "What the crap, guys?" Jim Moore Jr. is the head football coach at UConn, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Then you got Gino over women's basketball, like we're UConn. Like, come on. And
that's right. He's going to be pushing for a lot of it too. Yeah,
I think that's where you're going to see the most problems out of this.
Yeah,
is schools like South Carolina, Tennessee, UConn with a strong women's basketball tradition.
Yeah, you go to like Alabama. Yeah, their basketball team's good, but everybody knows football is what pays the bills around there.
Right. Yeah. No, you go to, like, they could win the women's national championship. No, they could win any national championship in Alabama. Basketball, in either basketball sport, men or women. And they'd be like, "That's cute, kids. Spring practice starts in a month."
That's right.
That's just,
that's similar with Michigan or Ohio State or any of those two. So,
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's going to be interesting.
But that's where you're going to see the fight, the fights over funds. Because, like Jim Moore is not just going to lay down and say, "Look, they're giving 16-5 over here, and you want me to produce a similar result over here," and it's just not.
Well, and I even think at Arkansas it's going to be interesting because you got, Sam Pittman's going to be in there saying, "Hey, where's mine?" And Calipari's, like, "I'm one of the greatest coaches to ever do this, and you're on the."
Can I ask you a question, Travis? Where do the best coaches in sports go? They go to the job. They go to the job that can get them the best players.
Yeah.
So the schools that can produce the biggest NIL budgets, are going to get the best players.
Yeah.
Your tradition no longer matters, or all that. It's not just, can I pay this coach more than this coach? It's who can produce that biggest NIL budget.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, X's and O's only goes so far. You got to have the Jimmies and Joes.
That's right.
And times are changing, and you're going to have new schools pop up.
Yep. That's right. Well, Clint, it's been a fun one.
It's been fun. It was definitely beat the gloom and doom of last week for sure.
That's right. Yep. Hopefully we'll we'll keep going with these positive vibes. We'll keep looking for positive things, and of course I guess with this NIL stuff, it's a mix between positive and kind of, hey, what's going to happen? But hey, folks, like, share, comment, subscribe, all the things. Okay, we need you. We need you, Hawg Sloppers. Slop this thing out there for us. Clint, any last words?
Booyaka, booyaka.
Booyaka, booyaka. I agree.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work, my hands get listen. I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change. These prayers breaking up hard drive so I can sow the seed. Ain't afraid of no aches and pain. Lord knows I gotta follow his lead. That's why I swear when I work, my hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no water till I hurt, crying your kingdom come. Oh, I swear when I work, my hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no water till I hurt, crying your kingdom come.